Sawadee and welcome to another episode for the Funkit Pod. And you can see it from the title one more time, Media Prof reacts to. And as if there wasn't enough to react to, right? So FTX, let's just put it out there. FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried and, should I say colleagues? Cult members? I don't know how to call it. Orgy? Whatever you want to call it, right? Like this past 1.5 weeks or so, I wasn't sure which train wreck to watch more, Twitter or FTX. I think FTX is going to make a better Netflix movie now, right? With everything that unfolded so far. So I'm not a blockchain pro, I wowould say. I think I understand it enough to talk about it. Let's see if I understand it well enough. I wanna, as I always do here on the podcast, focus on the media perspective, though, right? So I mean, it says Media Prof react to. So let me talk about from a media point of view, media coverage, how they use the media, how the media portrayed them, what the media could have done better, different, and so on, right? So that's the plan, and I don't know where to start, because now in retrospect, it's like, oh my god, it was all a con. It's crazy. I mean, let's start with the thing that everyone shared on Twitter, right? Like Sam Bankman-Fried was featured on Nas Daily, and Nas Daily obviously only highlights good causes and awesome people. I should do a video on Nas Daily too, shouldn't I? Yeah, maybe. Because, I mean, not throwing him under the bus, not just yet, but I mean, there's evidence out there that he allegedly doesn't do that for free, or at least not everything, or that at least maybe you can get in his favor, which makes sense, right? I mean, everybody needs to eat, so I mean, not a surprise that you're trying to make money with it. So, but I think he was even here. That came out like a few years back when he was, I think, in Singapore, and then like the media over here in Southeast Asia covered it, that apparently Singapore paid for it. But again, allegedly, I don't have the details. Maybe I should just look into that, and then we do like a Media Prof reacts to Nas Daily. But for now, let's just say that Nas came out, and he said like, well, it was back then when I did the interview with him, like over a year ago or so, and it was about the charities that they were running. Mostly not about the individual itself, not about like putting your money in that exchange. I mean, he has to say it, but also a fair point to some extent. So it's not about a Nas Daily, it's about FTX, right? So media-wise. So I mean, what happened? FTX, one of the biggest crypto exchanges, went basically down, and now also money disappeared through a backdoor, apparently, that no one else knew of. So, like, apparently the staff is like, we don't know how this happened, like how someone could just transfer funds now out of FTX, like without anyone noticing, without any alarm bells ringing. And so it reminds me of that Netflix show Startup. I'm not sure if you've seen it. I think it was called Startup, like with that gangster in Miami and stuff. I think that reminds me very much of that, actually. Like every time I read something of FTX, it really reminds me of that Startup show. Maybe they were onto something back then. Should have renewed it, so we would have seen how it plays out. Maybe SBF watched that show. It's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. But from a media point of view, just really purely from a media point of view, not like from a crypto investor. And yes, I do hold crypto too, and I'm like, all right, maybe not in exchanges. So yeah, but from a media point of view, so. First off, you gotta say that FTX and SBF, of course, they use the media wisely, like actually kind of perfectly. Honestly, also I came across FTX like back then, and simply because I think Binance verification didn't really work here from Thailand, at least when I tried it back then. Or I couldn't utilize. Oh, yeah, I think I could verify, but I couldn't use my Thai bank account or something to buy any crypto on there. So I was looking for alternatives, and then that's how I came across FTX. FTX branded itself as like the alternative to like all those big exchanges. We're different with direct, whatever they call it. I forgot what they call it. They had some term for it. And so That's how I came across FTX. So they did branding very well, I think. Like, we're different than those big ones. We're not one of those. So that was pretty cool, pretty intriguing when I came across FTX. Then SBF used it like very well. Like, hey, I'm the lovable nerd. I just want to give back to the people. Like every year we donate that many millions, billions, and so on to charitable causes and so on. So you're like, hey man, cool, yeah, that's finally a nerd who made it, who's doing the right thing. So we thought, right? So they used the media, I think, very wisely. And then also with like sponsorship of the FTX arena and stuff like this, right? But it's hilarious that Bang Bros now is like, hey, 10 million on the table, we take that name. pretty funny. So they did everything from a media point of view. They did everything well. So they branded their platform well. They did the big scale marketing, FTX arena or whatnot. And SBF like branded himself well as that lovable nerd who's really out there to help the people. And then of course they ran their charities, which now in retrospect, like if you have that much money to run those charities, but that made sense, right? It all seemed to fit well together. You're like, yeah, cool, can get behind them, great. Then from the media's point of view, and I mean, I don't think traditional media covered them that much, because I mean, traditional media doesn't really cover exchanges that much, right? But I mean, from what I've read, at least, and over here, where I don't read American media all the time, but I mean global media. If FTX was in the news somewhere, it wasn't never really anything like terrible, at least from thinking back what I read or yeah. Over here, for example, we had an exchange, SipMax, that's been and still is in some hot water. So things like this you would read all the time, but FTX didn't really pop up in this regard. Most of the crypto / blockchain, but I think focusing obviously on the crypto and investment media, they were hailing it. Every crypto site and their grandma had like a sign-up code for FTX or something like this, right? So we like the community was pushing FTX really hard, in my opinion, I think. And every crypto site was behind them, like, yeah, FTX, just click here, do it there, sign up for Binance here, sign up for FTX there. It's always like there was always, the call to action, like almost every crypto tweet, post, IG post, blog article, whatever. So no one saw it coming. And that shows also one of the issues, and like I think maybe the main issue that I want to talk about, and it's understandable because we all want it to work, right? We all want everybody involved in the space, like, yeah, crypto should work. We want it to work, so let's just go all in. And if we find something like FTX, like SBF, we like just, yeah, fully behind it or behind him until we get burned again. Pardon me. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe the media, especially like in the crypto space, should. I mean, most of people in the media space and in the crypto space probably have not studied journalism. I simply assume that by now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I assume that lots of the people that are running those websites, blogs, and so on, post on IG and so on, they have not studied journalism. So maybe just take a minute and think about like what's the goal or what's the job of a journalist. And it's not getting paid by FTX or by Binance. It's you will get paid if you do a good job. More people read you. You will make money. So maybe be that critical voice that the journalist is supposed to be. Journalism at its core is supposed to be like the watchdog over governments, watchdog over institutions, watchdog over financial investors or financial platforms and the trading platforms. So maybe all your crypto journalists out there, or maybe at least one or two of you, think about that and be like, hey, let's not celebrate everything that comes along and that like just makes me money in the short term. Maybe we take like a more critical approach to protect our readers' investment and they will thank us for it. Maybe that would be a good approach. And I think if we would have had that in the crypto space, like a big outlet that has real journalists that actually investigate what's behind all those different platforms, because let's be honest, no one knows really what's behind those platforms. It's lots of smoke and mirrors. So maybe having a platform, the dedicated crypto investment platform / journalists that look behind those different platforms, what's behind them, why they involve, where they meddle around, and so on. Maybe us, the community, would thank you for that, and that's how you would make or end up making money. Just a thought. Do it. Someone do it, because it would be really great to have. And it exists in almost every other aspect, category of life. I just haven't seen it in crypto just yet. If we would have that, maybe we could have avoided the FTX disaster. Until then, I'm really curious to see how this all plays out, where SBF is going to pop up, how that Netflix show is going to look like, and so on. Let me know your thoughts on the whole FTX disaster drama, science fiction movie in the making, because it sounds like fiction. Shout out, let me know, Funkitpod, at Funkitpod on social media, funkitpod@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, rate this podcast, that would be awesome. And until then, keep your investments close. Sawadee Krap.